Hello everybody, this is Manju from Ayurhitam. Friday evening again, that time of the day. Today's live is going to be about doshas. I was thinking, what is it that we should talk about today? So this week I've decided that it's the main thing. I mean, a lot of people everywhere you go talk about, when you talk about Ayurveda, it's like, what dosha are you? What dosha am I? Can you read my pulse? Can you tell me what my body type is? And depending on the body type, I know there's a lot of hype about, oh, what kind of foods must I eat? What kind of what kind of lifestyle should I follow? All of them. So I thought it's important that we address about doshas today. And if you have any questions around them, feel free to ask those questions and I'll address them as we go along. So any physical functions that happen in the body, right? So I'm talking right now and moving. There is a movement that's happening. The hands are moving. And that movement is happening because of an element. I'm sure a lot of you have known about Vata, Pitta, Kapha. These are the three main type of doshas that are present in the body. And those three are responsible for all the functions that are happening in the body, right? So the first one is Vata. I'm talking right now. My body is moving, and that movement is because of Vata element, right? And that is made up of air and space element. The second element, I'm speaking right now, and you're trying to understand what I'm speaking. What is she speaking? Is she saying Vata? What is it that she's saying? You're trying to understand it. That element that helps understand, that element that helps metabolize is called Pitta. Any metabolism that happens in the body, any conversion, transformation that happens in the body is called Pitta element. And the third element that helps keeping our body stable. You know, there is movement that's happening all the time. There's transformation that's happening all the time. When there's a lot of movement, when there's a lot of transformation, then there must be an element that must bring everything together and keep it stable so that we don't break down, right? And that element is Kapha. So anything that happens in the body is only because of these three elements. And it's so simple. It's like if you understand these three, you'll be able to keep your body healthy and happy. It's that simple. But let's understand these three elements, right? So when we talk about Vata, what does it do? Any excitement that happens in the body, any, like I told earlier, anything that relates to speaking, and even breathing in and breathing out, all the voluntary functions and involuntary functions are done by Vata dosha. If it is not in its place, if Vata is not doing its function, then the movement will not happen properly. The voluntary movement and the involuntary movement, there will be a problem with that. Even heartbeat happens on its own, right? And if for that heartbeat to happen on its own, Vata must be present. Digestion happens when you eat food. Food goes down, and food goes down. It doesn't go down because of gravity. There is this Vata element that helps bring food into its place. If food is not going into its place properly, then that means that Vata dosha is not functioning properly. Now let's understand what happens if it does not function properly. Food does not go properly. There will not be proper digestion. And there could be constipation, right? Because the bowel movement is also not happening properly. There could be constipation. There could be problem with your menstruation. there could be problem with any kind of movement. There will be stiffness, or there's pains in the body. So all of this is because of Vata dosha. Keeping the air element moving all the time is very, very important. If there is anything that's stuck, if the air is moving and if there's anything stuck, then it is stuck here, right? And that's when it creates that pain. So when we have to think about Vata type of people, when I say Vata type of people, it's the main prakriti that you have when you're born. When you're born, because of the main dosha type of your father and mother, the combination of this will give you a particular dosha when you're born. And usually it is either Vata Pitta, Pitta Vata, or Vata Kapha. But when we talk about if the person is predominantly Vata, then that person is usually thin. That person's usually, I mean, it's not necessarily all the time, but usually that person is not very stout. It's thin and very rough. There's dryness in the body. And that person will be speaking very fast. It's like, there will be a lot of movement in the body because there's a lot of air element in the body. There's a lot of movement. The person will be speaking a lot and cannot be sitting still. They'll be moving all the time. Like you might be seeing in the meeting, it'll be fun to watch this when you go out and you're in a meeting, or even in Zoom meetings now, everybody is around and you can see some people that are not able to stand still. They will be moving all the time. There will be some kind of movement with the legs, movement with the hands. That kind of movement happens. So there's no stability because of air element. The same thing happens with the, for you to be able to take decisions, like important decisions that you have to take when there is a meeting and you ask a person an opinion. If you're more Vata type, it's difficult for you to take a decision. It's difficult for you to think that, okay, come upon that this is the decision I want to take. So it is important that this Vata person, and it's difficult. I mean, when I'm saying that this Vata person, I don't want you to go and think, oh my God, I'm Vata, what do I do at this time? And then when I go to Pitta, you'll see that, oh, I have this Pitta quality too. When I go to Kapha, you think, oh, I have this Kapha quality too. So I want to tell you this beforehand, that all of us have all three for sure. Just one is dominating at one point of the time. I want to make it very clear. And I don't want you to think about, oh, I'm this person and I want to be in this box only. You will be in different boxes depending upon what your acquaintances are at that time, what you're eating, what your age is. But I want to give you an overview so that it's easy for you to take a decision, take what kind of lifestyle you want to adapt at that time. So because there is a lot of air element and there is a lot of space element, it's important that this Vata type of persons stabilize using Kapha qualities, using more grounding things, even in diet and lifestyle. So grounding things is like you would have to eat good grains, good quality grains, and squashes, root vegetables, which will ground you. That kind of foods you will have to eat. And make sure that you take good amount of good fats like ghee. Olive oil is also okay. Ghee is definitely a good fat that you can include in your diet because there's a lot of dryness in your body. There's roughness, dryness, there's a lot of movement. Ghee definitely grounds you down, gives you that oleation of the body, brings you stability, and balances you. So it's important that you take sweet things in your diet. Sweet things, I don't mean that you will have to eat sweets. You don't have to go and you're conveniently using your own dosha saying, I'm Vata dosha, I'll just go and eat sweets. That's not what I mean. But you can go take sweet tastes, like grains. You can add grains to your diet. You can add cooked fruits, cooked sweet vegetables. These are the things that you can add to your diet. Well, depending upon your digestion, make sure that you have good digestive ability, and then bring these sweet things onto your diet. Bring the ghee to your diet so that there is stability. Now, when we go to Pitta dosha is the one that helps with the transformation. We spoke a lot about movement, the movement, and there's a lot of creativity that happens with Vata. But with Pitta, what happens is there is metabolism that happens. You're trying to understand what I'm speaking. And when food is given to you, it's the raw material that's given to you. And that raw material must be converted to your own body tissues. And that conversion is possible only because of this Pitta element in the body. And all of us do have it. But if we have more of the Pitta element, if we're Prakriti, when we're born, our parents have more Pitta dosha, and if we have that Pitta element in us, then you know that you get anger like this, like a snap. It's because there's a lot of fire element in you. Everything must be done to the T. If you are planning something, especially during this Corona time, and you're planning something, everybody is in the house together, you want to make sure that everybody is on the schedule. You have a daily schedule, and you're like, okay, you do this during this time. You have to wake up at 5 in the morning, do this, do that. Make sure that this chore is done by this time. And if anything is out of the schedule, then that's enough for you to get upset. So that's usually your Pitta. And if there's 2 Pitta people in the family, if the wife and husband, you can see that there's firecrackers. There's Diwali every day in the house. There's like cracking fire all the time in the house. The husband says that this is correct and wife says this is correct, and it's not possible to come into conclusion. So both of them want to be on their, you're like, I'm correct. It's not possible to bring to balance, right? Because both of them have lots of fire. So again, it's important to use this fire, to channel this fire, and make sure that it's used in an appropriate manner. So fire is definitely important for metabolism. Now, keeping that fire in balance is important. If it is so much high, then your food is burnt down into ashes. It is not metabolized into your own body tissues. It's just burnt down to ashes. So it's again important to keep it in balance. Fire is always going up high. Fire goes down with either water element or earth element. So bringing it down, again, sweets are your favorite for Pitta people, especially because your fire is good and you're able to digest it properly. You can take good sweets. You can afford to, you don't gain a lot of weight, again, because there is a lot of fire element in the body. You can easily digest it. You can eat good quality sweets. You can, again, incorporating good quality sweet taste, not sweets, but sweet taste. And any questions that you have in between, feel free to ask questions and I'll be able to answer them. And milk, ghee are the best friends if you have a lot of Pitta personality. Doing Abhyanga, and especially there's a lot of heat in the head. Soaking cotton in oil and putting it on top of your head, taking like a rose petal jam or an amla jam. These are like the good things for you to cool down. And even pomegranate juice is very, very good for you. Or lemonade, taking with good lemon, sugar, good amount of sugar, adding good elaichi to it and taking that lemon sharbat is a very, very good thing. So these are like good beverages. You are able to afford and take good beverages, good quality beverages with good sugar in it. You can take them to cool that fire down. Yeah. So that's important. And with lifestyle, it's very, very important that you sleep well. If you're seeing a lot of screen, there's a lot of heat in the body already. then the heat from the screen will be excessive. So it's minimize it as much as possible. I mean, it's not possible, especially with the corona times that we're having right now. It's difficult, but be watchful of that. And you can put like sandal paste on your forehead, or even you can soak cotton pads in rose water and put them on your eyes while sleeping, or even 2 drops of ghee into each of your eye, because eye is a combination of both mucus, kapha, and heat, pitta. So it's important that we balance both of them. You can put like 2 drops of ghee into both of the eyes so that your heat will be reduced in your eye. A lot of people have dry eyes. It's because there's excess heat in the body, and that's what creates that dry eyes. And this is very, very good to preserve your eyes for a longer time, reduce the heat in your eyes, which is by putting cotton soaked in rose water on your eyelids. And also you can take rose petal jam, or make a drink, make a sharbat with rose water, or you can take amla jam, or applying oil on your head. So these are all few things that you can do to cool down. So that's your pitta, and that's how your firecrackers in the house will go down. Doing all of this will also reduce your fire. And one important thing for you will definitely be pranayam and meditation, which is cooling down the system also. Doing some cooling pranayamas, like Shitali pranayama is a cooling pranayama that you can use and cool down, so that the firecrackers in the house will reduce. So that's for pitta dosha, that's excessive. Again, it's not necessary that this pitta is excessive for you all throughout the life, depending on which life you are in, which age you are in. When you are in your bala age, which is childhood, at that time kapha is more, right, until you're 18 years old, because that's the building stage of life. Kapha is all about building stage of life. And then afterwards comes adolescence. And adolescence is like this transformation. You're trying to move from your babyish age to your adult age. That's when transformation happens. You're trying to build your career. All of that happens. And that's the pitta stage of life. And that's when acne happens, because there's heat, inherent heat in the body. And that heat will produce this acne, or that anger, that rage, that fire that you have is all produced. Again, pitta is much more present during that time of your age. Once pitta, that's until about 40, 50, you're then again cooling down. It's degenerative life after 60s, 50s, 60s is like 60s is like your coming down of your life. You have to, it's like you're not growing anymore. That's the vata stage of life, where there's going to be slowing down. There's the nervous system is a little bit dried up compared to what it was before, and that's the vata stage of life. So knowing which stage has which dosha also is important, so that you can give food and lifestyle accordingly. Yeah. And then when it comes to kapha dosha, it's more building, like I spoke about earlier. It more has water and earth element in it. When there's a lot of water and earth element, there's a lot of mucus that's in the body. We all know that 70% of our body is made up of water. It's not like water that you squeeze out and water comes out when you think about 70% water in the body. It's all the tissues that are made up of that element, that water element. When you look at plasma, it's a lot of water, and that's the maximum tissue that's present in the body. When there's blood, there's also water in it, and again, that's a lot of bigger tissue that's present in the body. There's muscle, and there's water and earth element in that. There's fat tissue, and then there's bone marrow, there's reproductive juices. All of these are made up of good quality kapha. It has a good combination of water and earth. So again, like we spoke about earlier, balance of this is important. If there is imbalance of that, that's when we'll suffer from a lot of mucus issues. You will, when you wake up in the morning, you feel like there's a lot of heaviness in the head. You wake up and there's pain in the head, there's stuffiness in the head, and it's like all stuffed up in the chest. In the throat region, you feel like there's always something and you have to clear out your throat all the time. So these type of things will happen when there is imbalance in your mucus in the body. Mucus imbalance in the body, then all of these issues will happen. So it's important to balance that, because kapha is definitely needed. If there is no kapha, it's not possible for you to sleep at night. You will have to retire from all the movement, all the transformation that is happening. You will have to retire from that. And that is definitely necessary at night. And that stability is definitely necessary. If that stability is not there, then it will be difficult for you to function again in the morning. If you don't rest up with that kapha at night, it will be difficult for you to function again next morning. So having that stability, having that balance is very important. If you have imbalance of a lot of this kapha element in the body, then definitely your digestion is not at its best, because there is a lot of mucus in the body. So you will have to take a diet accordingly. You will not be able to take a lot of heavy stuff like the vata and the pitta bodies have taken. That type of people, vata and pitta, excessive people can afford to eat heavier food and sweet quality foods. But when you have a lot of mucus already in the body, you would want to eat foods that are nourishing but not heavy. So the best thing for you would be barley. Anything that has any products that are made up of barley are very good for you. You can eat that. And you can also eat any of the, it's best for you to roast vegetables, roasting vegetables and eating that. And if you're eating meat, it's best for you to roast that, like a barbecued meat is good for you. And always reducing on your fat content. It's better to reduce on your fat content. Taking foods that can scrape off the excess fat but also provide nourishment is very important, like barley. And rice that's old, like a year-old rice, is also important. Wheat is also good for you. You can take that. And vegetables are good. Vegetables that are roasted are good because they have bitter taste in them. Taking bitter taste is good for you. You might want to reduce on the sweet taste. And exercise is definitely a must for you. If you have a kapha quality, you have to keep it going. And that's when you can sweat, and that's when you can remove that excess mucus from the body. So that's really what vata, pitta, and kapha are. And I just wanted to give you an overview. I know I spoke a lot about vata, pitta, kapha in my posts earlier, but I know it's very, very important to speak about these basics and understand them when you have to get on an Ayurveda path. Knowing them is very important. But then I don't want you to go and take quizzes. What type of body type am I? I want to know my body type. Can you read my pulse and tell me if I'm vata, if I'm pitta, if I'm kapha? What type of foods should I eat? What body type I am? It's not necessary. But again, it's good for you to know what's happening in your body at that particular time so that you can take appropriate type of diet and appropriate type of lifestyle. And again, if you're a kapha, I forgot to tell you the qualities that they usually have. You're very calm all the time. Nothing can move you. Your spouse can be yelling at you for anything that you're done, but you're sitting there calm, quiet, not even moving anything. And that rages your spouse, if that spouse is a pitta, even more. So you just are calm and cool, and nothing budges you. You're just there. But if you are moved, meaning if you if there is something that you want to do, and if you're sold on something, nothing can stop you also. So that's like the good quality of kapha, because you have that innate strength in you for being able to do. It just needs some push. If that push is given to that innate strength, then nothing can stop you. You can achieve anything and everything that you want to. That's the kapha personality. So I mean, it's good. You go out and you see what type. I mean, whenever I go and I see people, I'm like, oh, this is a vata personality I'm seeing. This is a kapha personality I'm seeing. It's fun to watch, and you can watch what type of things they pick up also. Like you go shopping and you see like a vata personality will be like, oh, should I pick this? Should I pick that? Should I do this? Should I do that? But with a pitta personality, if you go out, they're very sure. They will shop in only certain type of brands. They shop certain type of brands only, and they wear certain type of clothing only, and it doesn't change a lot. And with a kapha personality, they're like, okay, well, is it necessary? Should I even go? Okay, well, I found this. I'll just take this. This is good enough for me. So you'll see that within your friends, it's fun to watch that there's these different types of personalities, and it's good to be educated yourself so that you know what kind of lifestyle you have to follow if you have that personality. And if you have any questions, you can surely ask me like a particular question on the doshas topic that we just spoke about, or any other questions that you have pertaining Ayurveda, like what foods must I eat, or skin conditions, or any other conditions, any other questions that you have, you're more than welcome to ask. But I thought it's just important to bring up this dosha topic and make you understand that really these three are the only things that govern anything and everything that happens in the body. When we address it as an Ayurvedic Vaidya, we look at what is excess in which area, or what is less in which area, and bringing it back to balance is what we do. Giving herbs, diet, lifestyle, bringing it back to balance is what we really do. So that's really what I wanted to speak about today. Any specific questions? I know I'm here out in the farmhouse this week. You can see the beautiful view that we have, and I don't know if the internet is great. I'm hoping that you're all able to reach what I'm saying. Any questions that you have? Let me see if I'm able to go there. Okay. All right. So, and I did not want to, we're on a holiday with family here, and I did not want to miss the Friday 5:30 time, so I just came on quickly to talk about the topic on doshas. I know usually I get these questions, what dosha type am I? Can you read the pulse, and can you tell me what dosha type am I? And that's why I thought it's important to bring this topic and quickly refresh about that topic. Great. Thank you so much for all of you that joined, and I hope to see you all again next week. Any topics that you have, particular topics that you have, you can definitely let me know, and I will talk about that topic in extent next week. But if you do not have any questions, I'll see you all next week. Thank you all so much for joining on this Friday evening. Bye-bye.